boys and girls, Mrs. Copel here to show you my International Food Lunch food. Today I'm going to be making matzo balls for you all to share my culture of Judaism. I am Jewish, and I remember as a child every Friday night we would celebrate Shabbat, which is basically closing out the week, and you start a weekend Friday night to Saturday night and you rest. And so every Friday night when I was growing up, my mom would always cook us matzo ball soup with chicken. And so the matzo balls were, I thought, her famous recipe. And if you go to most other places, they have in delis in New York and other Jewish people's homes, they make their matzo balls a little bit differently without all the herbs and spices. But that's what I feel like really gives my mom's matzo balls a special extra kick. So I'm going to be showing you how to make them. Things that you need. You need a large bowl, salt and pepper, which I have measured out, a special herb mix, 2 tablespoons of it, which I've measured out, including tarragon, thyme, and a few other herbs, canola oil, eggs, water, and matzah meal. Matzah meal is basically crushed up matzah. Matzah is a flattened cracker that we use during Passover time, but matzah meal is used in a lot of Jewish cooking because it works like flour, but it gives just that extra little taste of the matzah, so it tastes a little bit different than flour. So that's what I'll be using. To start out, I'm going to be mixing in my eggs and my oil. I need a fork to mix it all up. And a fork's good for this so that you can beat those yolks all together. And my mom taught me this kind of turning gesture to help make it really get mixed up well. Okay, looks good to me. The next step is just to add in the rest of our ingredients and mix it until it's well combined. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to combine in the herbs into the matzah meal and the salt and pepper into the matzah meal. And that is going to get mixed up first just to help make sure that everything is really mixed through. Once that's mixed in, I'm going to add it to the eggs and oil mixture and mix that up. And it's going to start getting dry, so I'm going to add in my water. Starting to smell like Friday night already. Who was that? Say hi to Mr. Copel. This is looking good. So you can see everything is getting really well incorporated, and you can see the little green herbs throughout, the peppers all throughout, and it really just has such an aroma to it that it smells absolutely delicious. So you can tell everything's all mixed up once everything's wet, so you don't want any dry spots of matzah meal. And everything's looking really wet because I followed the recipe exactly. And fun fact about this recipe that I'm following, here it is. It came from a very special book because it is my mom's cookbook, the New Jewish Holiday Cookbook. And you can see Gloria Coffer Green, because before I was a Copel, I was a Miss Green. And so this is my mom's book that I'm getting my recipe from. So, now that we have it all mixed up, very, very important step, and that is the taste test. I have clean hands, just washed them. Take one nice fingerful. Tastes excellent. What we're going to do now is we're going to cover it with some saran wrap and wait a little bit, put it in the fridge so it gets nice and cool for about an hour, and then we're gonna cook them. I'll see you later. Hi boys and girls. Okay, we are back. We have let our matzo ball mixture sit in the fridge for over an hour, and it is nice and cold and chilled. I have just washed my hands because the next part involves a lot of hand work. I have a pot of boiling water ready to go, and we are now going to cook the matzo balls. What I have here is an ice cream scoop. It's a specific size that I'm using. This is called a 60, and that's the size I'm going to be using to make the matzo balls. If you don't have to get that close. If you don't have an ice cream scoop like this, you can easily just use a spoon to do it, because you're still going to be using your hands to kind of form and roll the balls. So the most important thing to do during this part of the matzo ball making is to make sure your hands are nice and wet. So I have a bowl of water here that I'm just going to kind of keep my hands nice and wet. Ignore that I have the word plates on the back of my hand. That's to bring plates for you all so that we can eat these delicious foods. And so now that my hands are nice and wet completely, I'm going to take my scoop and take out a scoop of the mixture, squeeze it out into my hands, and then kind of toss it back and forth between my hands. And what this does is this helps to make the mixture nice and tight together, helps it make a nice little ball, but really helps it to keep together, because once it's in this water, it's kind of a boiling water, so we don't want it to fall apart. I'm going to plop it in the water and let it go. And I'm going to do that with the rest of the mix. Don't stop yet, no. Back, forth, so it gets nice and put together in the mix. And you can see in the mix, or in the pot, you can see in the pot, the matzo balls are kind of floating around in there. You can tell when they're all done because they will get nice and puffed up, and they will all be floating on the surface. So they're gonna be much bigger than this. I did use a smaller size scoop than I usually use when I'm making matzo balls for, let's say, my husband, because there's a lot of you and I wanted to make sure that we have enough for everybody. But you can really use any size. It just matters how much time you'll spend cooking them in the boiling water. For the bigger size matzo balls, it's about 30 minutes. So smaller size is like 20. So I'll see you once they're all nice and puffed up. Hi everyone, so we are almost done with our matzo balls and soup. The last thing that I did was I took my matzo balls using a slotted spoon, and I took them out from my pot and I transferred them over to my crock pot. Now, typically what I would do if I was actually serving this for Friday night dinner, for Shabbat dinner, what I would do is I would have the soup already ready to go, probably in a bigger pot like this, and I would just transfer them right to the soup with some chicken, some carrots, maybe some celery in there, and I would just have them ready to go and we could serve them right then and there. But since you all are eating these tomorrow, I have my crock pot ready to go on a warming session, so it'll be nice and warm overnight, and they'll be nice and hot, ready to go for you all tomorrow. So you can see that they puffed up a little bit from what they were. You can see all the herbs and spices in there, and they just look delicious. The lens might be getting steamed up. Batei avon means good appetite. Can't wait for you to try them.